right.
What were the best games you saw? How many did you come up with? 3, 5?
I actually came up with three regular season games and 4 playoff games.
Wow, 7.
So
look at you.
Now,
All right.
here's the thing: is when you see this many games, the majority of the games you're going to see are bad games.
Sure, which is probably why we should start with my picks because I really didn't see that many good games.
Yeah, because you have a different. I like to see as many. We'll pull the curtain back a little bit here.
We'll pull back the curtain a little bit. So when we go into a football season, we have different sort of roles. You just see every dang game you can.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. You just
see
go
as many teams as I can.
Sometimes you'll see great teams. Sometimes you'll see not so great teams, but you'll see games.
Yes. Spread the love.
You have a sort of scattershot, grab everything you can approach, and that's good because that covers a lot of bases. For me, I go out and I try to see state contenders every week, so that by the time we get to state week, we have a pretty good feel for who we've seen, how we're sizing up the state field crowd, who we think's going to win. And you know what? I feel like it makes a difference when we sit there and pick those games because we missed.
Pat ourselves in the back.
We missed like 6 total picks.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. I mean, between
and most
and
of
4 of them were. I think we all picked Temple.
We all picked Temple. And I think I probably still would have picked Temple. I don't know why I would have changed my mind going into that game. That's the way it felt based on who they'd all played. I picked Ira Ann because someone had to. I felt like we needed to.
And Craven picked Steele.
And Craven picked Steele because I think we all felt like someone needed to.
Yeah.
And that was it. And you know what? Those were good games for a while. Yeah. So, anyway.
But when you see the state champion teams, a lot of times, especially in the regular season,
you don't see a lot of good games.
They're mismatched. There's some mismatches.
And it's funny because one game is because I wasn't seeing it. We went out to Diana to see New Diana and Ore City. Ended up being an incredible game.
Yeah, got to give Coach Copeland credit for
talking man. Well, he's probably still a little bitter about this one because they let it get away.
Yeah, he is. Maybe the pain is washed away, but
I don't know. I'm not sure what. But they had a 26-7 lead.
Yeah. And
they lost 41-39. Yeah. It was tough. That was
a packed house too, wasn't it?
It was a packed house. It was a great game, great crowd. Again, everyone in Diana couldn't have been nicer. We had a great time. But that was a great game.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't go the way that our hosts wanted it to, but holy crap.
Yeah.
That was a great game. Another one that sort of like fell off the radar because they ended up playing each other again, but the first game was great. Kennedale-Terrell.
Oh, yeah.
At Kennedale. That was like the first week of the season, one of the first games I saw. And Kennedale won 21-20.
Yeah, it was a close game.
And honestly, Terrell should have.
Yeah.
That was a game where they turned the ball over like 3 times. And Saban was there to see Browning.
Oh, okay. Did you have a selfie with him?
Yeah.
How do you think Saban would have handled you asking him for a selfie?
No. Well, yeah. I'd be the first selfie I've ever asked anyone for. Yeah. So that would have been weird. But I guess if you're going to make it count, right?
Yeah. Hey, if you're going to do it, Saban's a good one.
But that ended up being a great game. It really was.
Yeah.
And
the playoff game ended up being close, too.
The playoff game was great, too. Terrell let a lot of things slip away in that game. Probably should have won it. But, yeah, that was a great one. And then I guess I have to go to the playoffs for anything else. Yeah. And I really didn't, up until state week, I saw a lot of one-sided games. I really didn't see any close games during the playoffs. I was trying to go through all the way. But the best game by far, not even close, was Malakoff-Cameron-Yeo.
Oh, yeah.
We were there for the overtime game.
Yeah.
We were sure that Malakoff won that and they would be at state. Like, that was how it felt. It was that kind of – it was the weather wasn't great. They gutted through that win, and they won on a freaking field goal in overtime that the kid just smoked.
Looking back on it, do you think maybe that Malakoff didn't have – I mean, not to take anything away from Yoakum, but do you think maybe Malakoff kind of – that was their state championship beating Yo? Or? But
doesn't this happen a lot? Like, think about China Spring and La Vega. It's the same thing. Here's the team you can't get past.
You get past
You finally do it. Yes!
And then the next week.
And then the next week it all falls apart.
Yep.
It's absolutely a cautionary tale, one that coaches have told 8 million times before. These aren't the first examples of it. But that was... We had a great time. We drove down. We got to see Smokey. He was in the press box for it, rolling his eyes anytime someone cheered in the press box, which is what makes him great.
Which is valid.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And
totally valid.
And we saw a great game. I mean, how often do you see a 3A game end with a long field goal in the rain in overtime that was smoked? It was great kick. Walk-off. It was awesome. So those are my 3 games. What are yours?
All right, let's go. I got 7, so we'll move through them fairly quickly. Fort Stockton and Uvalde.
Yeah.
Out in Fort Stockton on a Saturday. Uvalde was down all game, came back late and won 32-27.
If you're going to make the road trip, make sure it's a good game.
Make it count. So that was a great game, great atmosphere. A Thursday night game, Arlington Seguin and Burleson Centennial. Burleson Centennial with the comeback win, 31-27. A couple of playoff teams battling out there. Really entertaining back and forth game all year.
The best part of this is me trying to remember your tweets during all of these games.
Yeah, my live tweeting can get a little.
It can be more entertaining than the game itself.
Which I guess that's a compliment.
That's an
to
asset.
Me. Yeah,
that's an asset.
And the last regular season game was a game I wasn't even planning on going to. It was Week 11, Fort Bend Elkins and Texas City.
That's right.
It was basically for the last playoff spot in the state playoffs. It was a Saturday night game.
Yeah.
Everyone else was done playing. There was one spot in the playoffs left, and it was straight up for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And Elkins scored a touchdown with about a minute and a half left to take a 3-point lead. Texas City drove down, got to about the 40, and kind of stalled out and lost by 3. So those are my 3 regular season games. Playoffs, I had a run there.
You did, man. You were playing a heater.
From area round to the 3rd round.
You saw some unreal games.
I saw this a cavalcade of great games. And I got 4 games that stood out. Area round playoff on a Friday night, Midlothian, Heritage, and Kaufman.
Yeah.
Down in Ennis. Heritage leads by 3. Kaufman's driving down to win the game. They go for it on 4th and 8 to get into field goal range. Looked like the guy had the first down, was called about a foot short of the first down marker, and Kaufman lost by 3. Right at 9 seconds left in the game. If he gets out of bounds, they probably kick a field goal to win the game or tie the game up.
That's a rough way to end.
On the very next day, on Saturday, the next game I saw, I went from that game Friday night to Saturday afternoon in San Marcos.
Okay.
Angleton and Dripping Springs.
Ooh.
Where Dripping Springs on 4th and goal from the 15 throws a touchdown pass with like 14 seconds left to win by the very odd score of 12-11.
It wasn't. It was the worst idea throw of all time too, right?
Yep.
Like he's rolling right through across his body to the other side of the end zone, and the kid's just sitting there.
Yeah, but hey, if you're gonna do it 4th down and goal,
you got no other choice.
Yeah,
if this is your only choice,
and hey, you look pretty good scoring a touchdown, so
for sure,
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Then in round 3 on Friday afternoon in Wichita Falls, with Munster and Monday, or Monday.
I never would have thought. We saw Munster the week before, and they absolutely killed Van Horn, and we thought, Munster will beat Monday.
Yep, and Monday, Jacoby Thomas, I think is his name, catches a another controversial touchdown here.
Did not look like he crossed that line.
But last play of the game, he catches a touchdown pass to win by 6 in a really thrilling game. As I think Zach Duncan was there.
Zach Duncan was there.
Sam Waller. We had a nice press box there with me, Sam,
had a
and
good
Zach.
replay review team.
Yes.
Watch the Zapruder film here of him not crossing.
And we analyzed the heck out of that between games.
You weren't the only ones.
Then the next that's at the same stadium about 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Abilene and DeSoto.
Unreal. Back those games.
Yeah. That was the game that my live tweeting probably
Your live tweeting
peak live tweeting
was Hall of Fame level.
Yes.
When they induct you into the live tweeting Hall of Fame, it would be because of the DeSoto Abilene game.
It's a very, very specific Hall of Fame. I'm not sure it's ever going to happen, but if it does happen, I hope
we could start it here. There's room in this room. We'll get the swag shrine on one side, and we'll get the live tweeting Hall of Fame somewhere over here. Yeah.
All right, we can do that. Yeah, that was a fantastic game. DeSoto pull the rabbit. It was that was like the first sign I think that DeSoto may just be a team of destiny.
Yeah,
just recovering that fumble. And now, to be fair, that was a very controversial fumble that Abilene's quarterback had for sure. And there's some video evidence that shows his knee may have been down, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
we don't have replay in high school. I don't think we should have replay in high school football.
Yeah.
But, it was a great game. Abilene played their guts out, and if Abilene wins that game, they were playing very well. They could have been the one playing.
I believe you said there were some coaches that told you that Abilene would have beaten Cedar Hill.
Yes, I had a couple of coaches tell me that. So I mean, it was great game, and I was fortunate to be there. And so I mean, all these games, you get to see you really, especially in the playoffs, when you see those really great playoff games, you really feel fortunate because. Like I'm pretty smart. I picked that game, so I feel you feel
pat
fortunate.
Yourself on the back
Give
for
yourself a little pat on the back. So that's probably my top games. I think from UIL State, I think the best game at State was to me maybe Refugio Crawford.
Yeah, well,
that's probably the best game.
I feel like for total excitement, DeSoto probably had it. if you're like bare bones results, like what really mattered at the end, Crawford Refugio kind of came down to the wire. But as far as like big plays and like, ooh, this game might be changing in front of our eyes, that was DeSoto steal. I felt like.
Oh yeah.
But